Younes, thank you for joining us. He is a political activist and a media personality doing a lot of great work and spreading his truth.
I'm here to spread love and I'm here to spread the truth. But when you have a society so full of lies, when you speak the truth, people think that you are trying to offend them or you're trying to hurt them. It couldn't be further from the truth.
One thing we're going to discuss today is feeling misunderstood.
Yeah, in general, I think I'm sometimes misunderstood by my family members, sometimes by my friends, and maybe by the work I do. I think one of the biggest misunderstandings that people have about me is that I'm trying to spread hate, which is not true at all. Because of my social media presence, people think I'm a very serious person. I always loved challenging norms. I always loved, challenging the status quo.
Today's episode is sponsored by Mindful Care, making mental health care accessible with same or next day appointments because your mental health shouldn't have to wait. Learn more at www.mindful.care. Welcome back to another episode of Candid Minds with Dr. T. I'm here with my good friend, Younes Sadaghiani. Younes, thank you for joining us. He is a political activist and a media personality doing a lot of great work and spreading his truth. One thing we're going to discuss today is feeling misunderstood, which is a feeling that a lot of our listeners and many of us could identify with and sometimes feel that although we are spreading our truth and have our perception of reality, that reality is perceived differently by those around us. Younes, share with us a little bit. Do you ever feel misunderstood in the work that you're doing?
Yeah, in general, I think I'm sometimes misunderstood by my family members, sometimes by my friends, and maybe by the work I do. I think one of the biggest misunderstandings that people have about me is that I'm trying to spread hate, which is not true at all. I'm actually trying to bring people from Israel and the UK and Iranians and just trying to make peace. But then sometimes you have to take an extreme position in order for you to meet a happy medium. So, I always loved challenging norms. I always loved challenging the status quo, even within my own family. And then sometimes that's misunderstood. They thought I was trying to argue, but then I could see the gaps in their thinking, or I could see what is holding them back. And, they say there's our generational curses, and they say your own family will hate you once you start breaking their own generational curses. And with the work I do as well, sometimes people think that, I'm just trying to insult Muslims. No, I'm not trying to insult Muslims. I have Muslim family members. I'm speaking about Islam as an ideology, for example, or when I speak about anything, and I think, I've done a podcast recently with Loyal Sharif, and, he's a Muslim, and we don't have any problems. His stance is look, we need to reinterpret the Quran in order for it to, make sense for the 21st century. And to some extent, I agree with him. But then in the Quran, he says, kill all the Jews. He actually does say that in the Quran. It's if you find a Jew behind the stone, kill him. Or something along those lines. And he was well, we have to interpret it. I don't know how you're supposed to interpret that. It's such a direct command. Maybe it was a misspelling or meant cuddle the Jews and not kill the Jews. But you know what I mean. But then that's his stance on it. He's okay, we need to reinterpret. And he's got a point because in the Bible it says, don't be nice to your slaves. So, I'm not necessarily a religious person per se. I'm very spiritual. I believe in God. But if that's his stance is to reinterpret, that's fine. Because look at what they've done in Dubai. Look at what they've done in Saudi Arabia. Look how fast they're progressing. So I'm here to spread love. I'm here to spread love and I'm here to spread the truth. But when you have a society so full of lies, when you speak the truth, people think that you are trying to offend them or you're trying to hurt them. It couldn't be further from the truth.
Well, with the work that you're doing, you do make yourself very vulnerable, right? Yeah. You're more exposed than the average person, which creates an opportunity for you to be misunderstood. Right. How do you navigate that?
We spoke about this in another episode, but you should just have the thick skin and you shouldn't care. Honestly, it doesn't really matter that much. And I'm here to be respected, not to be liked, because I'm not a people pleaser. So I just think fundamentally you should do what you love. If it comes from the heart and if you truly believe it, and if it feels right, if you feel like you're doing the right thing, then just do it.
Do you ever find yourself having to explain yourself in some situations?
Sometimes, because sometimes some people are just misguided and, they just watch the few seconds of a clip here and there. They don't know in what context I said it. They didn't watch the long format thing. So they might have a wrong opinion. And maybe those people that I think are salvageable and savable, I will try to explain myself to those people. But there's some people just so far gone that I wouldn't bother.
Yeah. I could tell you advice I give patients that if you are in a situation where you're misunderstood, the first thing is to engage with curiosity. A lot of times people engage a situation or a misunderstanding with wanting to educate. And you come on the offense because you are not understanding me, so I will explain myself louder. I will explain myself more forcefully. I will be more direct. None of that helps the situation.
Okay.
And in a situation where there is a misunderstanding, the first thing to do is to approach it with curiosity, meaning asking open-ended questions to understand where the gap is in the interpretation.
Okay.
So I did something, and my wife misunderstood what I did. And what I would want to do is first ask, well, what did you think my intentions were? What would you have done differently? Why do you think I did what I did?
Right. Very good advice.
Asking all these questions, coming from a place of curiosity with open-ended questions, really helps unpack where the misunderstanding is coming from. So it's important in those situations to stop first, because a lot of times the knee-jerk reaction, that impulsive reaction, is to defend yourself, to be louder, to be more forceful, to be more aggressive, and none of those things usually help.
No, that's very good advice.
Do you ever feel, for sure, do you ever feel that your persona online is different from your persona in real life when it comes to how you handle being misunderstood?
Not really. I try to be as authentic as possible. And one thing is that people think, because of my social media presence, people think I'm a very serious person. But in reality, I'm very fun and funny and like to joke around, and I don't take life too seriously. I'm a very relaxed person. So maybe that's the misunderstanding people have. But then if you follow my stories, you would know. So
interesting. Yeah. Or you've developed a more online persona and then a personal persona, which a lot of people have a professional.
No, I think I'm pretty authentic, honestly. I think even my social media is pretty authentic because I try to show a side of me that's not so professional, like me making fun, putting on funny memes, or like going when I'm out for dinner or to a nice place, I post story that. I try to show a bit of my lifestyle as well, So I think that's good because you don't want to be like a sort of like a robot online, like a presenter on TV. You want to have that kind of persona, but you want to mix it with because that's what people want to see as well, because they can build a whole portfolio or a character around you instead of just a guy that just comes and speaks about politics.
Absolutely. No, and I love that for you, and I think being misunderstood is something that a lot of people grapple with. It's a very natural situation and can happen in multiple settings. So using some of your perspective and your advice, I'm certain it will be helpful for a lot of people. So thank you for your input. And those of you who are joining us, thank you for being here today. We hope to see you back here again soon.